Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Lean Six Sigma for everyone. Today I am going to talk about PDCA, Plan, Do, Check and Act. PDCA is a problem solving tool like 8D, DMAC and Kaizen. So PDCA came into an existence in 1939. Walter Shelwood discussed the concept of continuous improvement in his book Statistical Method from the viewpoint of quality control. Further, Edward Deming modified and popularized the PDCA as the Deming cycle or Deming wheel. Let's look into each one. Plan. Identify a goal or a problem and create a detailed plan on how to achieve or solve the problem. This steps involves gathering the data, identifying key issues, your pain areas, and coming up with the hypothesis, the relevant data points. Then you move to do. In this phase, you implement the plan on a small scale, means you are doing the pilot and see the effectiveness of the plan. Next is check. You will analyze the results of the pilot implementation to see if the plan worked as expected. This step is about evaluating performance data and identifying what did work and what did not work. And you can alter your program again. So it's very iterative process. You can always go back to the previous phase and start working from there. So it's very flexible and agile in nature. Fourth stage is act. In this phase, based on the inputs or data validation that you got from third stage, now you will be implementing your solution to a larger scale, and you will continuously monitor the result, and based on that you will keep refining your process. As I said, it's very iterative process, very flexible in nature. So you can always, if you see in fourth stage that it's not yielding the result as expected, you can always go back and correct, implement the change and then proceed further. Let's further deep dives into these four steps. So as we talked about plan, identify the problem. Very important, you know your pain area, the problem that you want to tackle, your problem statement, and set your objectives very clearly. What is measurable goals that you are setting, what you want to achieve, right? As you are looking for the improvement in your process or defects removal, you should put up a measurable goals. For example, if you are looking for productivity improvement, you should put it 10% improvement, 5% improvement, 20% improvement. Or if you are looking for defects removal, then how much defects you want to remove. Is it 5%, 10% in your current process? Then further develop a plan. Create a detailed action plan, like who will be stakeholders, what would be the timeline, what all you need from the resource perspective, and then identify the metrics, that what will be the KRAs, KPIs that will help you to measure the performance. Further, you will collect the data, gather the data and observations during the implementation phase. Then you will train the employees on the instructions and the changes of the guidelines, so they know what roles and responsibility they have and what instruction they need to follow. Let's look at the second phase, do. So in this you will implement the plan, execute the action plan on a small scale to test its effectiveness. So based on the improvement and metrics that you come up with, you will implement that on a certain group or small scale to ensure that the improvement or the method that you're coming up is effective. Next, in check phase, you will analyze the data collected during the do phase. You will see the result of the test is as expected or not. So further, you will compare with the objectives whether this is met with the predefined objectives. If yes, there you are good to proceed further. If not, then you will go back and you will make the necessary changes as required. And then you will try to understand the gaps in the process, look for any discrepancies between expected and the actual results. Very important that you collect any feedback coming from any stakeholders, and this will help you for the continuous improvement. That's a feedback loop that will help you to eliminate the errors or improvement in the process. In act phase, you will implement this solution on a larger scale, and you will see if it is giving you the result as expected. In case you don't see the result as expected, you can always go back to previous stages and see the gap and try to fix those gaps so that you are closer what is expected out of the program or project. Then you will establish the standardized process based out on the outcome. You will make the necessary changes in the documents, process, guidelines, so that people they refer going forward the same guidelines, and your process in sustained phase, it's not going back to previous one. So further continuously evolve and look for continuous improvement, as this process is completely iterative. As and when you see the process improvement, you can always keep following a PDCA approach. Let's look at the benefits of PDCA cycle. First of all, let me tell you, the PDCA framework or tool is very simple and easy to use for problem solving. This provides the structured approach, right? When you are using this system or tool, it's giving you a systematic method right from your planning till you do a final action on the problem. PDCA approach helps you to take the data-driven decisions. It's not based on any hypothetical or assumptions. This is purely coming out based on data-driven approach. And then you're engaging all the relevant stakeholders, employees in whole process. So that makes it more successful. Now look at the example of PDCA. Then how can you practically use this to solve your problem? You could have a different problem. It may be like reducing defects, it may be the improving the productivity, improving the profits, reducing cost. So whatever your pain area is or target area is, you can select that as your problem statement. So let's take an example as a defect is your pain area. So when you start with program, then in the first phase you will understand where you are standing right now in defects and where you want to improve. Let's say you come up and say, I want to improve 10% defects in the process. In a way, reduce 10% defects in the process. You will develop a plan, right? Like all the numbers, current data points where you are, and then you will try to see the trends. Where is the problem? You will do further investigations, analysis, root cause analysis. There are many tools, methods available in Lean Six Sigma world which help you in this phase to analyze the process. So in the next phase, check, you will analyze the collected data to see if you have decreased the defects and what is the percentage of defects reduction that you have achieved in this program. And you will gather the feedback from the stakeholders, right? That is very important in the entire process. If you see that still there is a possibility of improvement, you can always go back and make those necessary changes and look for further improvement. And in next phase act, you will implement the solution full-fledged, as you're confident you already tested on a pilot. So you will implement it on a large scale. You set up a new process, new guidelines, so that everybody is following that. And then further you will establish the continuous improvement loop that based on the feedback that you receive from the stakeholders. I hope you find this video informative. Thank you for watching.